and we love imploring our knowledge on you from our books. From Robert Kiyosaki, Financial IQ, and my book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So, these last 2 weeks, we have been talking about money, mindset, and success. What do you think about money? Do you feel calm, joyous? Do you feel exhilarated? Do you feel elated that you want money to just keep pouring on you? That money comes to you easily, that you don't have to work hard for it. Money just comes to you. But it's how do you feel at the end of the day when you have money? So that's what we've been talking about. And we are going to continue to talk about, because today we are going to, there's, just really great topic that Ria is going to share with you. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to the show. My name is Alka.
My name is Ria, and welcome to our show.
So Ria, without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic on to you.
All right. Thank you, Alka. So today we're going to talk about Increase Our Financial IQ by Robert Kiyosaki. And earlier during the week, we talked about the 5 measures of financial intelligence. So number 1, we talked about financial intelligence. Number 1 was making more money. Financial IQ number 2 is protecting our money. And third financial IQ is budgeting our money. So let me read you a short paragraph from the book. Budgeting your money requires a lot of financial intelligence. Many people budget money like a poor person rather than like a rich person. Many people earn a lot of money, but fail to keep much money simply because they budget poorly. For example, a person who earns and spends $70,000 a year has a lower financial IQ than a person who earns $30,000 and is able to live well on $25,000 and invest $5,000. Being able to live well and still invest, no matter how much you make, requires a high level of financial intelligence. Having a surplus is something you have to actively budget for. Budgeting for a surplus is something we will look at in detail later on. So Alka, budgeting our money is very important. I'll give you an example. My brother, who came in here in the late, 2010, right? He came in here as a tourist, 2010, and he used his education to work here, just like I use my education as a doctor of medicine to work here in the US. Now, my brother also came in with a higher mental IQ, just like I do, because we're both in the medical profession. We have a higher mental IQ, but when it came to financial IQ, we were both moron, it's lower than average, and average IQ is having 90 IQ. Why I say moron? Because I lost over 200,000 of in paper losses, okay, in paper loss. In our first American dream home, we lost over 200,000, which is beyond our control. And that is true. If it happened before, it's going to happen again. It's just a matter of when. In 2008, there was a housing crisis, and that's how we lost over 200,000, because even though we were paying every month to our bank, but because there were foreclosure and bankruptcy everywhere, the property can only sell for what your other neighbors were selling. And that's how we lost the 200,000. Now, when my brother came in here, he worked, so he is now a biotech. So that means he fixes dialysis machine if something breaks down. He maintains the dialysis machine. So I Googled the salary of a dialysis technician here in the USA. So the dialysis technician makes anywhere from 40,000 US dollars. Okay, a doctor makes over 6 figures, over 100,000. Now I know for a fact there are doctors out there without apartments, without any apartments to their name. Why? Because of several different reasons. They use their money, they live, they high earners, they pay high taxes, and they buy big houses. They live in luxury. So then at the end of the day, there's only few left, right, for emergency funds. So now going to contrast it with my brother, who's a dialysis technician, he earns 40,000. According to Google, he earns 40,000. Now today, my brother is about to close on 3 more units, totaling to 17 apartment units in just 3 years. So how did my brother coming in here with a lower financial IQ, just like I did, right, earning 40,000, and yet able to invest his money to buy apartments? And just like this book, who is much better, a person who earns 70,000 and yet spends 70,000, or a person who earns 30,000 is able to live well on 25,000 and invest the 5,000? So I look at that example number 2 as my brother, who earns not 30,000 but 40,000 and spends the 25,000 on things for his daily living, and spend that 5,000 on buying apartments. Yes, you buy an apartment, but you also need your own personal development, and you need to have mentors. So my brother is able to scale it to 17 units right now because I guided him. He was my student, my mentee in 23 years ago. So that was 2018. So can you imagine the power of mentors? Mentors shorten our success. So now going back to the book, budgeting our money. So it doesn't mean that if you are earning high income, it doesn't mean that you will have more income. It's not about what you earn, it's what you keep at the end of the day, and how you use it, how you deploy that money you keep at the end of the day. So the investment, how do we invest our money? Any opinions that you can share with us, Alka?
Absolutely. Well, it comes down to not what, but it's the how. And it's the how that's always the key. Because when I purchased my first investment, when I decided to make my first investment, I had my 9 to 5. And although I was dissatisfied in my job, but yet I knew how I wanted my life to look like. I knew how I was going to feel once I reached to that point. So it's not in the what, but it's in the how. Are we going to change our lives? And that is also changing our lives is learning about money, learning finance is what we've been talking about in the last few shows, is about financial education, and budgeting is also a key factor that how do you budget your household? I mean, home economics, financial education has not been taught in schools, like especially in my time, it was not part of the curriculum. And so when it's not part of the curriculum, and now you come to face, even some adults, even in their 40s and 50s, are not well equipped to running the household. Running the household, there is budgeting, whether it's groceries, telephone bills, car loans, everything is budget. What do you allocate your money, your expenses to, so that you don't overspend? Because it's in the overspending sometimes, we get so much in trouble. Like, kids who graduate college, the credit card companies go after you and they give you a credit card, and now kids are saying they will overspend, they will spend on the credit card. But the question is, how would they pay off the credit card? So Ria, I think, a financial education is so important that it needs to be taught in schools, but also, we need to learn about budgeting, because that is where the that is where people do end in trouble if you're not able to budget and allocate your money, allocate your expenses to things. And if you overspend, then what are you left with at the end of the day?
That's right. And I do agree, Alka. Growing up, I didn't learn anything about financial education. And that's why when I came here, my financial IQ was low, very low. So until I learned about personal development and I invested in myself, I invested in mentors. So my point is that budget our money, have a surplus where you actively budget it for. Pay yourself first. It's very important that you pay your taxes, but you pay yourself first. You have an emergency fund. You have a fund for investment. And you have a fund for your daily activities. Set it aside, stack it. Remember, we can only lower our expenses that much, but we can increase our income as high as the sky.
Exactly. It's infinite.
That's right.
Raising our income is infinite.
So hopefully you've got a lot of nuggets, 1 or 2 nuggets from our show, and we will be delivering this type of nuggets with you. Why? Because we know that we didn't learn it in growing up in our school. And that's why we have the beauty of online, the beauty of having, the digital media, right? The social media. Why? Because then if you know who you're following, you'll be able to get few nuggets, 1 or 2 nuggets, and that should suffice you. And that should empower you to learn more about finance, to learn more how you budget your money, to learn more how you can increase your income. So stay tuned for more of our videos, for more of our shows.
Exactly. Increasing your income has got to be the key, but increasing your income, you need to be smart about how you're going about increasing your income, because that is the key. And even what I feel is that you need to not overextend like I did when I purchased my property. I overextended on my budget. So that is what you should not do. Avoid the mistakes of not overextending on your budget. If you are looking at a property and it's not in alignment with your budget, so you need to know, can you afford to pay on that property? So I just give you a clear example. So I purchased my second investment and the property was $2,450,000 that I bought it.
Wow.
And now I went outside of my budget. Yes. Wow. I went outside of my budget.
That is wow.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, I put down the down payment and now, I don't have the money to pay. So the question is the budget, to budget yourself properly, do your math every single step of the way. It's not just in real estate, it's budgeting yourself, calculating on everything that you are doing, whether it's in the home, whoever's in charge of the home, taking care of the finances, taking care of the budgeting. You need to budget. And that's how that's how people really do well, when everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. So if every one of you who has your strengths in the family, just make sure that you're taking care of your budget. And, so in that way, you'll be sound, you'll be at peace with how you are spending your money, because at the end of the day, we want to not be in debt for anything or anyone, and not to be in debt. So you will only not be in debt is when you are learning how to really be sound about your money, having that knowledge, having that sound knowledge when it comes to money.
Alka, I'll interrupt you. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I love that. There's such a thing called good debt and bad debt.
Yeah.
I love that. I love good debt.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between good debt and bad debt. Probably Alka meant bad debt. Good debt means money that puts money into your pocket. Okay. Good debt means income going into your pocket. Bad debt means The money is going away from your pocket. It's going away. So these are just expenses. For example, the difference of good debt are my apartments. You know why they're good debt? Oh boy, you know, with having 70 apartment units, I have millions and millions and millions of debt, okay? And I love it. You know why? Because my tenants help me pay for my apartment units. And over time, those property values will go up as long as I have the number of units and I can withstand the weather, the good, the bad, the good economy, the bad economy, then I know that money I will never ever lose.
And also,
bad debt. Bad debt is like our single family homes, the primary residence we live in. Yes, it can be a bad debt, it can be a good debt, but majority of our times, because we do not have a lot of money, are single family homes. And I know you guys will say, it's so Rhea, I don't believe you, Rhea, I'm not gonna listen to you. That's okay. It's okay if you don't listen to me too. But what I'm saying, once you reach my position, you will understand why our primary residence is a bad debt. Why? Because it takes money out of your pocket. We pay for electric, we pay for gas, we pay for garbage, we pay for taxes, we pay for the repairs, we pay for the maintenance. We ourselves are paying for our property's expenses and mortgages. Whereas if we have apartments, the tenants pay everything. And after you subtract all the expenses to pay for those expenses, the taxes, the mortgage, you have a cash flow. Cash flow, okay, you know what cash flow is? It's income minus expense, minus your debt. That's your cash flow. So that cash flow goes into your pocket to make more money. So that's the difference between good debt and bad debt.
And absolutely. So you know what? Your tenants, they pay down your mortgage. They pay down your mortgage. So the more cash flow you have, that you're going to be in a better position. So cash flow is king. Cash flow is what we want. So you need to have a lot of drips coming in that is going to make sure that you and your family are safe. You know, your lifestyle, your choice of living becomes so much better because now you have learned how you are budgeting your lifestyle. Because at the end of the day, Rhea, it's all about your lifestyle and how you are choosing to live. As we talked about in the earlier show, Warren Buffett is a billionaire, as we know, but he is living in a modest home. He is not living in a luxury home. And why? Because he is smart. He is using his financial IQ to really make his the lifestyle and really make his business and really make the money that he is proud of, but also generating in the community.
Hey, 𝗏𝗏,
yes.
Warren Buffett has a plane, a big plane.
He does? Okay, so he has a plane, but he has a modest home.
Yes.
He has...
So at some point in time, right, when you have a lot of money, time, whether it's Warren Buffett or time, you know, for me, for 𝗏𝗏, or for other people out there, or time, according to the poor, we all have the same time, and time is more infinitely valuable than money. So that's why Warren Buffett has a big plane. Why? Because it takes him to places as fast as he can go.
Exactly. So, you know, it's how you value your time. Do you value your time? So time is equally as important as money, because without money, we cannot live the desired lifestyle we choose. So whatever the lifestyle you are desiring, just make sure that you are living according to the lifestyle and the money, the mindset that you have around money, and that is not to spend it foolishly. Foolishly meaning, do you gamble? Do you just blow your money? Because that is not the smart way. And even if you win the lottery, how do you take, what are you doing with that money? Are you reinvesting that money? Do you know what you are doing with the money? That's important too. That's an important point, is what are you doing? How do you manage the $1 million check that you get from the lottery? So friends, it's about managing your lifestyle, budgeting, budget every step, budget everything that you are spending on, on your expenses. Calculate on a monthly basis. What are the expenses? Where are you overspent? And then that will determine the lifestyle that you are choosing. That will determine the lifestyle that you have right now for you, your family, and for future generations to come. So we have come to the end of the show. Ria, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, that was so amazing. Guys, friends, I hope you took a lot of notes, because this truly was phenomenal. Budgeting is all about, it's all about that. If we were not taught about finance, at school, then now is the time for all of us to learn how we can save, spend, and invest our money soundly, so that at the end of the day, we are living the lifestyle we truly desire. So my friends, we have come to the end of the show. I hope you truly have enjoyed what we have shared with you, because we truly have, and we love just having chats with you about money, mindset, and success.